Right, the dust has settled from that Chelsea-Arsenal game now. The anger's kind of gone. And all I'm really left with optimism and excitement. And I just wanted to talk about that. We drew a game. It felt like a loss against the title contenders. And before the game, I would have snatched your hand off for a 2-2. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit in this video and just kind of analyse it. And also talk about Poch and how I'm getting excited about this project now. Yeah, just wanted to try and do a bit of a positive video. Luckily for me, I went out straight after the game, so I didn't get to just sit in the annoyance that we kind of dropped a really big game, 3 points. I literally just went straight out and drank away my problems, which is probably the best way to deal with it, I think. But that aside, though, like looking back and whatever, like it was really positive, and I just want to talk through some of the positives that I saw. And I think the first is Poch outclassed Arteta this game. He really, really did. Showed us, his tactical brain and how he is good. And, something we haven't really seen since Tuchel is a manager coming in with a tactic to outclass the opposition. That was great. just really, really enjoyed that. He had a clear plan to break down Arsenal. Like, Arsenal had their preferred front three, their strongest front three, probably one of the strongest teams they could put out. But he had a game plan for that. He played like this, kind of like a 4-4-2 almost, but with Gallagher and Palmer as our striking two up top. And on paper, that sounds mental, but in reality, it worked really well. You had players like Palmer and Gallagher up front, just like overloading the midfield with the wingers that can come in or out, and then you've got like the two more defensive midfielders in Caicedo and Enzo kind of packing that midfield as well and making sure that Arsenal did not overload Chelsea on the ball. And it's like kind of like Poch just stopped their game plan completely. And yeah, just going forward, I think, Pochettino is starting to build something here. It's obviously going to take time. This isn't the end result, and stuff, the result itself is a product of the fact that this is early doors in this project, but it's so good to see something is happening, something is building, and it's something that we can strive towards. And for me, it does make that, I was about to say lost, that draw feel easier to take, because it's not as just hopeless as it has felt for the last year or so. So yeah, that's a big positive. Another one, I've already mentioned them, Palmer and Gallagher both had a class game, playing more forward. I think Palmer, let's talk about him, obviously got the pen, and I think it was really good of him to, the whole thing with Enzo and Sterling and Palmer, we'll know, like, it was really interesting to see that like none of that affected him, and he just got the goal, got it done. 2 consecutive penalties as well. Is it consecutive? But it's encouraging to see that, and it looks like he is the penalty taker now, and also that he's like growing into this team. And that would have been like a bit of a weird one when we signed him, I can't lie. A lot of money, young talent, a City kind of academy product. Like that was a weird buy, but it's turning out to be a really, really good one. And not just the penalty, the off the ball play and the few build-ups that he could have scored. There was one where it was Gallagher who broke the line, beautiful run, made all the space for Palmer. He kind of takes it, cuts it across, and if it's just 5 centimeters to the left, it might nick off the post and go in. Like, it's so close. And it was just so exciting to see him like really like flourish in this role in this team. And it's like one I didn't really expect. I thought he was going to be a rotational player. I did actually think that, but he's starting to make himself a starter, and that's really impressive. And yeah, speaking of Gallagher, he's another player that's just thriving. I feel like he's thriving in the leadership of the captaincy as well. Like, he's been given the captaincy with the injuries that's happened. Last couple games he's been captain, we've been great in. Like, there's a correlation there, and I think we are seeing him become a better player, and I think he's going to be one of those that benefits from Poch. Poch is obviously a great man manager as well as football manager, and I think the trust that he's putting in Gallagher to be the captain, to be so forward playing, and his impact on that game the other day was just brilliant. The way he was carrying the ball forward, the progressive runs, and also just the energy that he brings to that midfield. It's like the perfect kind of key ingredient to like having it all work. And I think that's just so good to see, because it's an academy boy, someone that loves Chelsea more than most people do. That's just beautiful to see. And I think we have to talk about the midfield in general. I've already spoke about Palmer and, of course, Gallagher, but you got to talk about the boys behind them, Caicedo and Enzo, who a lot was made up about how they've travelled a lot, they've travelled a long way, they must be tired, they're being thrown straight into this game. But Poch said it himself, they kind of have to. They're really important to the way Poch wants to play. the way those two, and with Gallagher as well in the midfield three when it's a free, the way those three all work together, something's building there, and it's so exciting to see. And the leadership again from Enzo to say to Sterling, no, give it to Palmer for the penalty. Like, such a young lad to have that. And you talk about the great Chelsea sides of the past, every player was a captain for their national side. I know Enzo isn't that, but like, you're talking about players that are starting to show leadership. Conor Gallagher, Enzo Fernandez, these players, Caicedo, they're looking to start being leaders. They're young lads. We've got so much to go and see from them, and to see them step up into like leadership roles already is so good to see. I think that's something we've lacked for so long. Like, you look at players in the midfield of the past, and no one was there to stand up and be that guy, the vocal point, and I love it. I'm just getting gassed. My next point I've got here is Cucu-f-rella. Where's this come from, son? Where has this come from? Where you been? I wanted you to turn up, but you didn't. Someone's put a fire up his ass, and he was so good. He had Saka in his pocket most of the game. He genuinely did, and that's something I wouldn't have said should have happened or would have happened. Like, he's been brilliant, and it's gone from the right back to the left back. And yeah, there has been a few shaky moments. It's not all rosy, but to see him be the player we thought he was more, it's just so relieving to see. And again, I think again it comes back to Poch again, how that man management of players like Gallagher and Cucu-f is going to be so important to these young players. And Cucu-f is not that young, but like to a player who, felt lost at the club a little bit, he's now showing form. And I think that togetherness that Poch is bringing is good. And I think, yeah, everything comes back to him, and I'm really, really happy to see that. So yeah, not all doom and gloom. Yeah, we didn't get the points. We didn't get the 3 points. We got one instead. Again, like I said at the start of the video, you probably snatched their hand off for a draw at the start of the game, which is mental. Obviously, a moment of misjudgment from Sanchez. It was so annoying at the time, but I think there's more positives than negatives from this game, and that's a massive, massive improvement. And then you're looking ahead at this run now, this winter run that looked terrifying just a month ago. You're now looking at it a bit more assured. We played against one of the best teams in the league, and we proved to be pretty good. So when we come up against a Tottenham, a City, or even a United, we can go in and have that confidence to go, no, okay, we are still one of the best, just like you. And that's good. That's really good, and I'm buzzing with that. So yeah, that was just it. I just wanted a little appraisal of Chelsea and happiness for once. I feel like the channel this season so far has been quite negative. It's fun to have a bit of a nice video like this. So I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I enjoyed making it. If you did, give us a like, give us a subscribe. I would massively appreciate it. And yeah, come on, Chelsea, just see where we go with this, man. Buzzing.